On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2015. We're going to be taking a look at Ed Sheeran, and he's going to be performing Bloodstream. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, I've done the video, went through the upload process, but unfortunately it's been blocked worldwide. So, the link to the performance that I watched is going to be in the description below and also pinned to the top of the comments section. So, click on that, watch the performance, and then come back here for the analysis, and I'll see you guys in the comments section. I'm just going to jump in here. As always, the link to this video is going to be in the description below, so you guys can click on that link to watch it the whole way through without me interrupting. But Ed Sheeran, one of the huge names and artists of the current day, and what I do like about Ed Sheeran is the fact that he's as close to the old school musician as I think you can get in today's industry, because when he first started out just busking on the streets, and he said himself in interviews that he couldn't sing to begin with, and on the interview that I did see, they then played one of his very early demos and it wasn't particularly good. He was cringing as well because he knows exactly how hard he worked at his vocals in order to sing from scratch and building it up from nothing. The guitar work that is on show here, but also across all of his compositions, is deceivingly complex and technical. And I think if you do play guitar yourself, you've certainly got a respect for Ed Sheeran with the way that he plays, his rhythm, the way that he throws in fills, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all of these happening while he's singing at the same time. And something that I do want to focus on with this video is the amount that Ed Sheeran does that flies under the radar with the looper pedal that he has, and the way that it's been designed and customized for his live performances. We are going to have a look at that, and I will have some footage of just Ed's foot on the pedal in a different performance, but it gives you such an appreciation of the amount of work he's getting through, but also the amount of rehearsal that he has put into every single performance. The first thing that I want to draw your attention to in this performance is the way that the crowd are cheering, but Ed is not bothered about the crowd at all. It is such a professional and well-rehearsed performance. When the crowd are cheering, he's already getting down his first loop. If you are trying to play along with this at home, you'll see that Ed's got the capo on the 5th fret, I believe, and it won't go with standard tuning, because when you start to play along with this, you'll realize that two of the notes that you can hear, one is definitely an open string, but they would both be on the same string. So what Ed has done here is detune his G string to E. So it goes quite a way down there, but that is how he achieves this sound. When he starts playing, he's getting down that first loop, and he's saying to his looper pedal that he wants to start recording. He starts playing through the loop and then taps in when he wants that loop to then stop recording. Now, there is an angle in the video where we do get to see Ed's pedal, but this is an even better angle because this is a picture of what he's using, and you can see the way that he's got it set up. Just first of all, if you're thinking of just getting this in your bag and going out gigging, you're gonna need to get quite a big bag, probably a case, just to house this pedal unit. But the Chewy 2 has so many options on here. What you'll find is that Ed, with his right foot at the moment, these are where he stores up his loops. So he'll have 4 of those in a row, and with the video that we've just seen, the fingerstyle playing will be in that first bank, and then he'll just layer them up, and then he turns them off and turns them on depending on whether he's in a verse or a chorus. So there is so much going on with his feet while he is playing. And something that I say all the time on this channel is Playing and singing at the same time doubles the difficulty. But with Ed Sheeran, you've got playing and singing at the same time, but also setting up your next chorus and your next verse. And it's something that he does while he sings and while he plays. The other thing you'll notice is that if you had a looper pedal or you've got a very basic version of one, you'll find that you can get one loop down and then your second loop is now recorded over the top of that first loop, and you just keep on layering those up. And if you do make a mistake, that's it, ruined, because you can't go back and edit it. Whereas what you can see Ed's got here on his pedal board is the undo option. So if he does make a mistake, or if he doesn't do it quite as well as he wanted to, he can undo what has last been recorded. And that gives him so much more freedom. But let me also point out that I've never heard or seen Ed use the undo function. He's pretty much done it bar by bar and just layered it up and never needed to repeat anything. Another really cool feature on this looper pedal board is that at the top left, just under the Chewy 2, you can see that there is a visual representation of the audio that's gone in. So whatever Ed has played, he can now see it. And a little line goes across and plays it as you would have in your digital audio workstation. You get that visual representation, which is great to have. And also we've got the stop. It just looks like top because the microphone's in the way, but that says stop, in order for Ed to stop all of the loops and just sing and play his guitar. Great for changing the dynamics of the performance. And then right at the end of a song, you'll see him hit the clear button. So that's clearing all of the loops because he just wants to end the song with his guitar and his voice. And then that's it, move on to the next song. We've got a great picture here because in the performance we've just seen, where he's playing the intro and the crowd is still applauding, that fingerstyle playing that he's got down, we can see will be stored in channel 1 where it says guitar. He then moves on to boom, which is what he's given as the label for his percussive element of the song, where he's striking the body of the guitar, taking the place of the drums. And he's also got RC20. It looks like it's a bit small to see, but that is the Boss RC20. So he's got the original looper pedal built into this unit, and he'll go to that if he wants that functionality. And then the final channel you can see is Vox, so vocals. So any backing vocals or harmonies that he wants to get down will be in channel 4. So I know that this is a picture, but in this example, you can see the green lights are in the channel of boom and RC20. So it means that whatever he's recorded on the looper pedal, the RC20, that's going to be continuing. He's got the percussive element going, and he's always got the input of his live guitar. So he's got 3 elements going on here at once. Obviously, he can start to layer this as much as he wants to, but when he gets into a chorus, you'll see all of the green lights on because that's where he wants to take you to the peak of that mountain and be really open dynamically. As soon as he wants to bring it down, he'll then turn off particular channels, sometimes just leaving the boom, the percussive element in there, and playing rhythm on the guitar so that everything else is ready to then come in for the chorus. And when he comes in for the chorus, what he does is, I know this is getting technical, but he turns on all the lights with his feet and then presses play on the far left of this picture for the start of the chorus for everything to come in. So he's pre-planning the whole time. Just for a quick break from the technical explanations, if you want to play this on your guitar in standard tuning, you can just about get away with it. You might have to sacrifice a couple of notes of authenticity, but if you stick your capo on the first fret, and then from that capo, you go onto the second fret, which will be the 3rd fret if you're counting from the bottom of the guitar, but you're on your G string here on your 2nd fret from the capo, and then you are going to have to stretch up with your 3rd finger and your little finger on the A string and the D string, and then we get these notes. And the picking direction is going to be just like that. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I'll pick it a little bit louder. And that's the cycle that you want to go through. Obviously, I'm playing a full-size acoustic guitar and not a 3/4 size that Ed Sheeran uses, but you still should be able to make that stretch. Another thing to mention is there is a bit of palm muting in there in order to get a duller sound to the strings. kind of like that. And the cycle on the right hand, it's just a case of gradually building that up in order to get that muscle memory in there. So the next shape is just a basic power chord shape because we're in standard tuning. So we've got this, I'm gonna take the mute off so you guys can hear it. So that pattern on the right hand has changed. Again, one of these things that Ed Sheeran does that you might not necessarily notice, changing patterns on the right hand all the time and keeping his playing so intricate and so accurate, but he makes it look really easy. So you don't understand how difficult it is to nail it all the time, especially when you've got to set up loops. Another thing on the right hand, I don't think I mentioned, the thumb is on the A string, first finger's on the D string, second finger's on the G string, so that you're always going in that cycle, that sequence when we move down to this first fret with the first finger. And then we move up, the second finger joins the third finger on the same fret, that second fret from the capo, and it's on the A string. And then it jumps over to the low E string. And of course, the thumb comes down with it as well. Like that. And it's just a case of getting used to the sequence on the right hand. Obviously, if I was playing authentically, I'd have that palm mute in place. The great thing is that we can watch a performance like this and focus in on the different elements, such as Ed's voice as well. He does jump up into that falsetto in order to supply some of those backing vocals to himself, but also the way that he belts in chest. Ed Sheeran has such a great sound in that belting register right at the top of his chest voice range, and that's where all of that emotion is as well. So it's another thing that when you think about what he's doing with his feet at the same time as performing, it is so impressive, and he does it at a level that nobody else really does, and he certainly was the one that pushed the boundaries of performing as a one-man band and really utilizing the technology that existed. And there we have it, right at the end there, a great example of where Ed would hit that clear option on his floor pedal setup with the looper, and everything cuts out apart from his voice and his guitar. And this is the great thing about being able to change the dynamics of the performance just on a whim. And just as soon as he wants to get back down dynamically to his voice and the guitar, he's got the option to do that. And that's coming from a point at which we are so open dynamically. He's throwing together so many percussive elements at once. We've also got that boom channel running the whole time, but then going to that double time strumming really aggressively, leaning into his vocal as well in chest voice. I mentioned the belting beforehand, and that was an out and out belt. Let me also throw in here about Ed's songwriting as well. I always say it's the hardest part of the music industry to nail, songwriting and writing hits. And Ed is certainly one of those artists that has the knack for it, as well as the technical ability at his instrument, vocally as well, and the technical ability of just technology and getting everything to come across seamlessly, even though he's doing so much. And I will put a video up on screen, I'll do it now in the edit, that hopefully will show a few segments of where he's jumping from one part to another part of the song and what he's doing with his foot in order to achieve that, going from the verse into the chorus, and also keeping his balance. That's a major thing. If timing is that important, you have to make sure that you hit that looper pedal at exactly the right time, and also the way that he cues up a chorus before he gets there. It might be something that I do in the future to take that video that I've got of Ed's feet and just talk everybody through exactly what he's doing step by step, because you get such a deeper appreciation of his talent for organizing a song and his appreciation dynamically of what he throws together and taking out particular loops, adding ones back in, but it also gives you an insight into how far ahead he's thinking in the performance. In the current industry, it is very easy to overlook particular artists because there are so many out there and there are so many who are overproduced and rely on technology in what I would say is a negative way, such as auto-tune, and changing what the artist sounds like in the studio compared to live. The great thing about Ed is that what you get on the record, he can produce live because he's not using auto-tune. He's not relying on something to make him sound better than he is. He sounds that good in the studio. So it's a really important distinction to make between artists that are out there at the moment in the mainstream and Ed Sheeran. Like I said, he's one of those old school musicians with his approach. He just stuck at it. And I think anybody that does play the guitar and sing and might be a recording artist themselves, if you gave them a guitar and said to them, perform that song that Ed Sheeran just did, we'll give you the exact same looper pedal, they know that it would take a hell of a lot of rehearsal to get it down this seamlessly, but also being able to sing, that's another side of it, having all of the loops set up in time and just taking for granted that you can play fingerstyle as accurately as this. It is something that Ed Sheeran probably doesn't get as much recognition as he should do because he makes it look so easy. And people that don't play the guitar can't judge it. They just look at him playing, and this is a great example of a video where it's focused in on his face and his guitar playing, and you don't get to see what he's doing with his feet because there is so much going on. But thank you guys so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!